Welcome to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Wednesday after AEW and NXT, and every Friday after SmackDown. Welcome to the show tonight, AEW and NXT.
Yes. Hello, how's it going? What's up, people?
Hope everybody can hear me okay.
I hope so.
For all of you that are in chat.
Hey, Janelle.
Hello, Janelle.
What's up?
Do we sound okay?
Tonight, I think both shows were actually really good.
Solid shows.
I thoroughly enjoyed both of them. I saw a couple people on Twitter having some issues with AEW. I'll kind of share why I think maybe they had some issues with it. But I actually liked both shows.
Yeah, I think they were both pretty solid.
And I didn't have a problem with either.
No.
So we're going to start with AEW because, well...
Because that's what we're starting with.
Yeah, that's what we're going to start with. So we start AEW off with Private Party versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Omega and Page win, and then Pac shows up on the screen, and he has Michael Nakazawa back down, in the back, beating him down. He's got him in a submission, and he says this will continue to happen till I get my one-on-one grudge match. So if you want it to stop, then, like...
How you doing, Star and John? How you doing, James?
Give me my match. Maven looked like human version of Supergirl tonight.
Yeah, I'd say that Pac really, I kind of like what they're doing with this.
Me too. Time Slurs, Alex Shelley. Guys, OMG. I don't have a clue who the guy is. I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see this and I'm like, really? I don't even know who he is. Maybe that just makes me kind of terrible, but I don't know who the guy is. I'm just saying. So I wasn't like, woohoo! You know, I was kind of
How you doing, Zendo?
Like, okay, cool. I don't know who he is, but okay, cool.
Dope. Both shows were definitely solid tonight. Definitely solid.
AEW 7.25, NXT 8. I think NXT won this week. Are you doing something?
I'm trying to fix this chair.
Everyone panned AEW on my timeline this week and said it was the worst show yet. You don't know Alex Shelley? No, I don't. I don't know who he is. Hey Colin, yo, what's up?
I thought AEW was solid.
Yeah, I thought AEW was solid tonight. I mean, I can understand, since we're talking about it first, I guess I'll put this out there now. If people were looking for more storylines to kind of be made and more stories to play out, that didn't necessarily happen tonight. It was a lot of wrestling, and if they weren't there for, like, wrestling, then I suppose I can see where people didn't super love it. I suppose.
Yeah. The women's division, how you doing, Export? The women's division in AEW needs some serious work.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that, bro. Motor City Machine Guns, Impact Wrestling, Alex and Kris Sabin. I don't know who that is. Starring John now thinks I'm the worst wrestling fan in the world.
She is.
I haven't watched Impact. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't watch Impact, so that's kind of why.
I'm sorry.
I saw the Rhea and Kris match. Yikes, AEW needs to do something with the women's division.
Wow, second person to say that. Hold on, guys. Hold your thoughts. Because guess what? We're talking about it right now. So yeah, that was a Private Party. One thing I will say before we move on. What are they doing with Hangman Adam Page? Are they just trying to make him like a fun-loving character or like what? Because I don't know. They have him in the crowd during commercial break, and he's like drinking beer with these different people from the crowd. And I don't know. I suppose he's like, the crowd's into it. They're having a fun time, but like, I don't know.
I think it's one of those things where they it's gonna be his character, at least for now. So who knows?
Off topic, OMG, Scott Steiner. NWA.
Yes, NWA, Scott Steiner. Crazy.
You guys don't watch Impact, my heart into pieces now. I'm sorry, dude. I don't watch Impact. I haven't watched it.
we would love to watch all of it, but you know, when you have many things going on, it's like, you know, it's the time thing.
Zendel, I know, right? Yeah, I didn't watch. I mean, I did see Scott Steiner on NWA because I was parked on the couch last night with heating packs on my leg and my arm. So I did see it, yes.
Yeah, because I put it on.
But I knew about it before.
Yeah, you did.
And you were like, there's a big surprise on NWA tonight. And I was like, okay. And then I thought about it. He's like, a superstar, a future Hall of Famer showed up. And I'm like, what? And then I go, oh, it was Scott Steiner. And you go, man, what? Dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew earlier. I saw it earlier. But you know, I saw it earlier.
He's still yeah, no doubt about it. That's what happens when you get on steroids.
So, Kris Statlander versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship. Guys, the women's division needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of work.
Well, I think the one thing about it is I think that right now they're kind of limited on what as far as having the women's side of things. I don't think they've really had superstars come in for them.
No.
And so I think that made it tougher for AEW.
A lot of people just straight don't like Riho. Hold on, though. Hold on. Okay, Storm John said, you guys see how Riho won tonight? Once again, heel move, even though she's a face. Awesome Kong helped her retain tonight. Now you guys see why I can't get behind Riho. Kris should have won. I'm gonna be cool, though. This made me mad. I really thoroughly disliked this. So Brandy's on commentary, and Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida are at ringside. Awesome Kong and Mel, I think is what her name is, come to ringside, and then Brandy then comes down, and Kris gets ready to attack her, but the Japanese deathmatch legend or whatever, Dr. Luther, who I've never heard of, stops her. He comes out from under the ring, and he's joining the Nightmare Collective. He's some creepy looking dude that has sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Creepy looking dude, and yeah, they help. So they got another Nightmare Collective person, cool, sweet, awesome, whatever. And then Riho retains, and once again, it's the stupid roll up pin. I'm over it. It makes me so terribly mad that they are doing this, because not only it's I just don't find it believable for her to be champ and beat all these different people.
Jump under the ring.
I don't find her believable at all in the stuff that she does. I just can't believe it. I can't get behind it. I don't like it, and I just don't like it. And this made it even worse. It's I really wanted the title to be put on Kris Statlander, so very badly, because then at least the championship would be on somebody that it's believable if she beats somebody like Nyla Rose or anybody in the division.
Well, here's a question.
I don't like the belt on her, and they need to take it off.
Is it possible that they're doing this just because they don't have a solid women's division right now?
But honestly, I think this is just making people look at it and go, well, wow. Your women's division,
she won by a heel tactic, but she's a face, but she took the Japanese guy, but Awesome Kong helped, and she schoolboyed him up. I'm very puzzled. Here's a thought. Maybe the whole idea is to get her over and like I said, the women's division is not. They don't have a lot of solid.
No, the women's division is not good, and that's the problem. Is that they don't have any stars.
I think.
And the thing is, the thing that's really funny is, I saw an article about Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez, she signed with WWE apparently, and she was on some AEW stuff just recently, and people were like, AEW's very stupid for not trying to grab her when they had the chance and have her sign a contract and have her sign with them because she was a star that they could have had, that could have been somebody in the women's division that was a big deal, but no, they didn't do that, and now she's with WWE. So it's their loss, you know?
By the way, how you doing, Elijah? I think that, the one thing that I don't think AEW's dying slowly. I think the thing is, you're going to have to give it time. Again, they're only 2 months into their being a viable show. And I think that they're still trying to build up their roster and trying to create some storylines. And I know tonight, you didn't see a whole lot with that, but I think that it's tough to do. Like the women's side, I just don't think that they have the talent.
It sucks because they can't build their women's division because WWE take everyone. But the thing is, it's not even about WWE taking everyone. It's the fact that they don't jump on it first. And, like, they don't get ahead of the game and say, when they have these people on there as, like, free agents who are there for a one-time thing, like they had their Women's Battle Royal, like, they could have signed people. They didn't.
Well, but you can't, I mean, the problem is you're talking about the WWE who has,
which I understand.
Unlimited.
They are a bigger company.
Hey, how big of a check do you want? Well, you come sign with us.
I get it, but the thing is, like, they did, like, I don't know.
I mean, I think that it's just going to take some time, and I think that people need to be patient with it. How you doing, Aaron? I thought I was watching AEW, though. I think both of them were good. NXT and AEW were both good.
Agreed.
Well, I do kind of agree. It's terms of believability. I don't think Riho should be the champ. She works better as a chaser.
Yeah,
I agree, but again, like I said, I think right now the women's division, I don't think the women's division is solid enough that I don't think it matters who you put the title on. I mean, you could put it on, in reality, you'd probably have to put it on Awesome Kong, right? I mean, if you want to make it believable, you'd have to put it on Awesome Kong and say, okay, she's the champion.
But
take it
off
of her.
It's not even about the fact that, like, the whole women's division isn't believable, which, like, the women's division sucks. Yes, it does. But Riho as champion is really not believable, especially when she's beating people that are so much bigger than her, that are, like, and she's doing these stupid roll-up pins. It's like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. I really don't.
WWE just needs to stop signing everybody. They have enough talent already, but I get why they're doing it. I do too. I mean, I don't know. Well, I think they're going to lose some people too, so I think that's part of it.
John rant. Oh boy, guys, get ready. It's a John rant.
I think part of it is that they're going to lose some people, so I think it's.
I feel one coming tonight.
So I think that's why you see some of AEW's issues as far as the women's division goes.
Colin said everyone is mad at Riho winning. I'm not. It shows how much faith Kenny has in her. Which I can get and I understand, and I know they're like friends and stuff, and they like tag together or whatever, but like, honestly, if that's not the best representation of the women's division, like, putting the belt on her, I just don't feel is like the best representation, you know what I mean? Like, not that she's like a bad wrestler or that she's a bad character or anything, I just don't think she's a good representation for being the face of the women's division.
Well, I think the biggest issue is her size, and that's
what makes
makes people go, oh, that's
whoa, like, come on. Yeah, I don't.
But again, if you're gonna do that, then you almost have to just say, okay, Awesome Kong's the champion, and right now because.
But I don't think you need to put the belt on Awesome Kong. You could have easily put it on Kris Statlander tonight, and everybody would have been fine with it, because it's taking the belt off of Riho, and nobody wants to see Riho as the champion anymore. They don't like it.
They do, but I mean, so
you could. I mean, honestly, you could have put it on Britt Baker. You could have put it on Hikaru Shida. Like, you can put it on any one of those women, and it'll be fine.
Okay,
and it'll
so
be more
let me ask you this, okay?
Then
Riho
but let me ask you this. Champ.
You put it on Britt Baker. Everybody's already criticized her mic skills, her in-ring ability. At least if you have Riho, you don't have Britt Baker in the spotlight as your champion. And have everybody going, you know what? She doesn't do good on the mic. She doesn't. I don't think she's real good in the ring. So.
But what is?
So let's try. But hear me out. Okay. This way you give Britt Baker time to build and try and get those skills and try and get to where she needs to be, and then maybe give her the title.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Whereas if you give her the title now, people are going to remember that and go, she was just terrible. I don't know why she was the champion.
But the thing I have a question, like, just to kind of further bring this back to, like, what is... Riho doesn't cut promos. I mean, Riho's fine in the ring. It's kind of, like, no different than Britt, so I don't see the difference.
But I think that you have a little more...
Is she more established? Is Riho more established?
No, I think there's a little more leeway with her. Because I think because it is unbelievable, and people go, well, it's unbelievable. That's just not. I mean, I can't believe that she keeps winning. So when she does lose, everybody's gonna go, okay, yep, it was expected, and you don't have to worry about building her back up. Whereas if you put it on someone like Britt Baker, who you're trying to build up, but has to have the skills, has to work on the skills to get there, then And as far as like doing Kris Statlander. Again, the women's division is weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you put it on her, who does she fight?
I mean, they have several people that she could fight.
Who does she fight? And everybody goes, wow, that's pretty cool. That's going to be something I really, really, really want to see.
Okay, I don't know.
Because people are going to criticize it anyway. This way with Rhea, you can put her against anybody, and everybody's going to go, well, yeah, she should have lost because, well, she's not believable.
Well, and the fact of the matter is that, like, people now, because she's had the belt for, like, since they, brought it in.
A month?
Since they brought the belt in.
Yeah, I don't even know when did they crown
it was like their second show.
So about 2 months.
They haven't been going for 2 months.
Hmm?
They've been going for longer than that. They've had a TV deal longer than that. Haven't they? I don't know. Whatever.
It started in October.
Anyways, I don't know.
So 3 months?
But it feels like it's been a lifetime that she's had the belt. And I think that's why people are, like, just over it. And then her size is another factor where people are like, well, this isn't believable and this is stupid. And it's going to get to the point where people are just not going to care. And they're not going to care about the women's division. People are already not caring about the women's division because it sucks as it is. But I think keeping the belt on her hurts the division more. And in all honesty, I think it does.
I don't know that you can hurt the division anymore than it's already hurt. I realize this AEW can sign any woman in wrestling who's not signed. There are a lot of good women wrestlers. Again, you have to have people that want to come to your company. You have to have the money to sign them. And so it's not just a matter of, hey, just go sign this person. If I was a wrestler, I would probably look at AEW because they seem to give you more creative freedom and they seem to work with you more. But if you're looking to be financially stable and set yourself up for the future, I would say you probably sign with WWE.
Yeah. Nightmare Collective also is not even helping either. It just makes things worse for the women's division. I don't know if they were. The Nightmare Collective is a whole other thing that I just don't know.
I think it depends on what they do with it.
Currently, I'm not super into it just because I don't love the placement of it and what they're doing with it. With the fact that they threw it out here in the middle of this match and it got all screwy and Rhea won and stuff, it just kind of messed with that.
Remember, Kenny said we'd see a change in the division in 2020. We got to give it time. Yeah, I mean, give it time. Let them work it out. Everybody's down on AEW and how bad it is. It's given you an option to watch something other than.
But see,
people
aren't going AEW as a whole sucks. I mean, there are some people that are doing that, but a lot of the times when people are like, yeah, this sucks in AEW, they're specifically talking about the women's division because a lot of the stuff they have going with the men is pretty good. And the storylines are good.
Well, I think, again, you have to build it. I mean, everybody wants this instant gratification, have everything working out so awesome.
No, but,
you have to give it time.
How long has AEW been a company? How long has AEW been a company?
I don't know for sure.
Over a year.
Okay.
And their women's division still isn't even, slightly built? Like there's like no foundation there at all. Like.
Well, it doesn't help when you have people go, well, I can't take this and I'm gonna leave.
I mean, yeah. Whatever, but
that's where I said, you know. So I think it's one of those things.
Honestly, if Kylie Rae hadn't left, I think she would have been like, the championship holder.
Just give it time and see what happens. Hangman Page is drinking an AEW. Yes, I do think that AEW is gonna get better this year. I think it's a matter of time. If it's WB, no Page, throw the beer away. That was awesome. It definitely was awesome. Or you get suspended. Yeah.
So, after this, we get Christopher Daniels versus Sammy Guevara. I thought this was a good match. Pentagon comes out with a distraction, and then Sammy gets the win. Then Dark Order comes out and says, you, Christopher Daniels, are one of the best in the world. Uno continues to say, if I hadn't met you 15 years ago, I wouldn't be who I am today. Now, I believe in you, but this company does not.
Good night, Colin.
Night, bro. See you later. Talk to you later. Peace out. Uno says, now I believe in you, but this company does not. He hands Daniels a mask and tells him to join Dark Order and we can help you. Daniels takes the mask and looks as if he might put it on his head, and then he throws it on the floor. Dark Order attacks, and then he fights back a little bit, and then the rest of STU and the Young Bucks come out to the aid of Daniels. I liked the segment. I thought it was good. Dark Order needs to, I don't know.
Impact.
They need to go after some people. Some other people. A lot of people.
I kind of like what they're doing.
I like what they're doing too, but I just think they need to go after more people.
Well, I agree, but I think it's going to be a time thing.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying Impact is indies. I don't think Impact's indies.
Tessa Blanchard, Kelly Klein, Tennille Dashwood, Jordan Grace, Santa Rosa, Rosemary, Kylie Rae, Katie Forbes, etc., etc.
Kelly Klein is from Ring of Honor and NWA, so is Thunder Rosa, not to mention Elena and Camille. Matt Hardy's leaving in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figure he's going to leave.
He'll show up in AEW.
Matt Hardy?
Yeah.
Just because...
I would almost bet he'd show up in AEW.
He can't do his whole, delete, thing. He can't do his Hardy compound stuff.
No.
And
the thing is they have given... Okay, with AEW, like I said, the building has to happen. They have to build it up. They have a shot here, as WWE has some stars that are going to start to have contracts that are going to come to an end. And so, as that progresses, I think you'll see some of them start to, go to AEW.
Yeah.
Dark Order going to get better. Give it time, they can be AEW Ministry of Darkness. Yes, I agree. I think that the Dark Order, that segment...
The Dark Order is something really good that
could turn out good. It
done.
Went from, I don't like this to I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen here.
I second that. That is true. I just want them to go after more people. I like what they're doing, but I feel like they should go after more people and, get to the point where they're going after more people and then they're, really taking over,
Yeah.
They can start off like this and then, go into coming on twice during the show and 3 times and then have video packages here and there during the commercial breaks and stuff,
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool if they went that route with it where they just slowly took over.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be cool. The thing about the women's division, okay?
Rachel Ellering.
AEW...
Rachel Ellering is in NXT, I think. She's just out with an injury currently.
I don't think AEW wants to step on toes. They want to be able to have a working relationship with some of these other wrestling organizations. And so they're not going to go out and actively try and pursue other women wrestlers.
I get that, and I understand that, but almost if you want to make your show better, sometimes you have to do that and, step on people's toes, and, yeah, it might screw up a couple of, hey, we might be able to have a business deal with you sometime down the line, but if you get a whole bunch of talent that decides, hey, you know what, actually, I'm going to sign with you,
The thing is, I think as you get bigger, you can do that, but right now I don't think you can, because you're building your brand.
Which I get and I understand, but currently, what they are trying to do is be AEW. They're not trying to be AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, or AEW and WOW, and AEW and whatever. Like, they're just trying to be AEW. And they need more people on their team, like, to make AEW better.
Well, I get that.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can understand not wanting to step on people's toes, but they might need to step on some people's toes. So then we get Lucha Bros and Dustin and Cody. Lucha Bros versus Dustin and Cody. I thought it was a decent match. It was fine. Dustin and Cody both win. And then we get a Cody interview. Tony Schiavone, he asks, what's your response to MJF? Before Cody can say anything, Arn takes the mic. He says, I don't know how this MJF gets to make these huge decisions. I can't speak. Huge decisions about our match that Cody's gonna have or whatever. But did he become God and no one told me? Is that what happened here? Because I don't recall this happening, guys. He says Cody wants the match, so we're gonna talk about it. I thought this was really funny. I have a thought. Are they gonna do, if they want to survive, step on toes? Your fan base is only gonna take you so far. Yeah? That's kind of what I'm saying. I think they're fine where they are currently, but I think here in the next couple months, if they don't get some talent side and get better, they're going to have to step on toes.
Okay, but if you step on toes, then you're gonna have to like tell your people when they come in, you know what? You might have an injury, but sorry, but you're gonna have to work because we've like ruined our relationship with some of these other companies, and we can't bring people in to help out with things like that. So you are gonna have to toughen up, Buttercup, and you are gonna have to come out and perform and do your job.
Which I get is fine and cool and stuff, but like if they don't have any
they're not WWE. Where WWE can go, hey,
nobody's saying they're WWE.
Come to our show. We'll pay you lots of money.
Nobody is saying.
And we may not even put you on TV or anything like that. We'll just keep you back in the dark.
Nobody is saying they are WWE. But being Mr. Nice Guy only gets you so far.
Good to have you back, Zando.
So they're going to have to step up and do something to get people to want to come to AEW and join their division. Like, I don't know. No, I don't think anybody's saying that, oh, they're WWE. They're going to turn into WWE and, you know, do this and that and the other thing that WWE does. But, like, I just, they're going to have to step up to be able to get people to come.
Well, I agree with that step up. But you got to do it the right way, I think. Join the dark, or do you want to win? Let's see here. Do I think that... No, I lost it. Right, Releasing Zack, do you think WWE will release Zack Ryder, Bobby Roode, and EC3? No. I think they will keep them under contract as long as possible.
Especially
do you think AEW can work something out with New Japan Wrestling? Yes, I do.
Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Currently, there's nothing in the works. But I could see them doing something maybe down the line. But, you know, I don't think
I think that they can work something
I
out.
don't think that's their top priority, though. Because if they wanted to sign a thing with New Japan, I think they probably would have done it already.
Yeah.
A couple months ago. But, you know, I don't think that's their top priority. I think they're just trying to build themselves as a brand and not try to ride the coattails of somebody else. You know? I think they want to do it on their own.
I agree.
So I think before they join anybody or do anything like that, they want to be established.
Yeah, I think that they'll do something with them.
I bet if they want to surprise, New Japan needed to, if they want to expand their audiences. Today proved that NXT has the best women's division in wrestling. Yes. I would
probably agree with that.
So,
but the one thing about NXT is they're not split between, like with Raw and SmackDown. They're not trying to split your stars up so, you know, they have all their stars on one show.
Which I get and understand, but if you look at it, the women that were in the ring there tonight were like, that's like the division. They are the division. Yeah, there might be a few others like Dakota and Mia. You know, they're like the mid-carders currently.
But Sam Big Swole use her, like, come on, AEW. I think they will. I think it's just a matter of time. I think you have to give again. I think some of this you have to give time. Justin came out, I agree, but let's all enjoy wrestling now. AEW got the best tag teams and storylines. I I would agree with that to some degree.
So, I thought the Arn Anderson thing was really funny. Now, my thought process on this. I think Arn is going to continue to cut off Cody.
Arn is going to turn on Cody.
No, I think it's going to be the other way around. I think Cody's going to turn on Arn because I think he's going to, say, Arn, you literally don't ever let me talk ever. I don't get a word out ever. You have literally taken over. When I asked you to be my manager and come and help us out, I did not mean literally manage every single thing. Like, I can speak for myself every once in a while, okay? I don't need you to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to come to, just based upon kind of the way Cody looked, but Cody didn't look he looked a certain way, but he didn't look a certain way tonight. It wasn't like glaringly obvious. You kind of had to be paying attention to his face when Arn took over. But it almost looked like he was like slightly annoyed that Arn was like, sorry, Cody, let me answer this question, So I have a feeling that might be the route they take. Regardless, I think Arn and Cody will be split up at some point. I personally think it's going to be with Cody turning on Arn, though, just because of the fact that he's going to always talk for Cody and always take over things, and Cody's just going to get tired of it.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think Toni Storm does the NXT UK? Do you think she'll win the NXT UK Championship back?
I'm gonna say this now. 2020 AEW better do something, or by 2021 they will be forgotten more than the Forgotten Sons.
I think the one thing you have to realize is they're still young. They're just starting out.
I might sound crazy, but I think AEW needs to step it up because after a few Raw and SmackDowns, looks like WWE is actually trying to have a good 2020. Yeah, that might be something that they have to watch out for, is the fact that just in the last 2 weeks,
they have been the two best shows of the year so far.
WWE has had better Raws and SmackDowns than they have had in a while. So, if they continue down this path, and with the fact that XFL is starting super soon, or whether it's started already, I don't know, I don't follow football.
February,
whatever. With the fact that
it's
XFL,
like
with the fact that XFL is starting so soon, Vince will not be there. I don't think. I think he's gonna put all of his focus in his football thing, trying to get that started, and then that means it's Triple H and Paul Heyman and those dudes coming up with stuff, and I don't think Vince is gonna have as big of a part in it as he did. And maybe while he's gone, he'll see, whoa, wait, ratings went up? What? What is this?
Yeah.
Ratings haven't gone up in 10 years.
How you doing, Dylan?
Ratings haven't gone up in 10 years. Maybe I should go away more often. And then maybe he'll just stay away for a bit and be like, well, they got this. I can handle my stuff and they can handle theirs. Maybe I can retire and go on a Long Beach vacation with my son, Shane McMahon, who I will keep because he's not going back on WWE TV ever. I think that would be awesome. Don't you?
Yes.
Don't you think he should retire and take a long vacation with Shane?
Or just go, hang out with the XFL.
Or the XFL, I mean, whatever.
As long as he doesn't screw that up. NWA was awesome. Definitely. I loved NWA this week. I thought it was really good. That's not an excuse, Mr. G. They gave established stars that have been telling people about this brand for over a year now that we got it better delivered so far. They are 6.5 out of 10 being nice. The thing is I think you have to realize that, they have a few stars. Overall, they don't have a ton of stars. I mean, if you look at them and compare them to WWE,
which is kind of laughable because
like every person on the WWE roster, except for when they bring out the jobbers, could be a star in some way.
Yes.
AEW doesn't have that luxury right now.
I think Kris Statlander can be a star.
I agree, but
I think
the
she
problem,
has a really
again,
good
like I said
gimmick,
before,
and
the women's division there overall is that they need to develop some wrestlers or bring in some names And you got to give it time. I mean, again, they're only 2 months old. I mean, so they probably have people that didn't want to sign with them just because they don't know where it's gonna go. You know?
I suppose, but
we're doing good,
know.
Dylan. How you doing?
I don't know, bro. I just really don't know.
Vince is gonna work with both. It sounds insane, but it's Vince after all. Yeah. Hopefully he works more and focuses more on the XFL. Hopefully. And by the way, I'm looking forward to the XFL. I like looking at the rules that they have coming out. When does it start? I believe it's February 7th.
I don't follow football, so don't ask me any questions about it. I only watch Vince McMahon's wrestling. I don't watch his football.
Might be February 8th. February 7th or February 8th. I don't know. Remember, I think it's one of those days. It's that week.
Vince is going to be 80 years old this year.
NWA needs to be on network. Oh my god, every NWA show has been amazing. I love the NWA.
Yes,
I hope it doesn't come to network. I love it being on YouTube because it's easy to get to. You don't have to go search anywhere. You just it's easy to find. I mean, not that being on network TV would be hard to find, but they'd probably put it on some channel we don't get, and then we'd have to go search it, and then I wouldn't have it on my YouTube. So I think having it on YouTube is awesome.
So after the whole Cody interview, we get Lanny Poffo backstage. He's got an interview. They were doing the whole Legends or whatever tonight with the place they were at. I don't remember what they called it. But he essentially said he's glad that AEW invited him and that he wants to help contribute to this product as much as possible. So, they have...
did Jon Moxley join Kris? We'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, he did. And we'll tell you exactly how it went down.
Maven.
So stick around, Dylan.
Maven, I like how Mr. G is making excuses for them. Mr. G, you gotta understand, they've been talking smack and throwing at WWE. Talking smack and throwing stuff at WWE. And now, look, people are slowly turning faster than WCW.
Here's a question. Did you want all their stars and everybody to be put out there at once, or would you rather have them build and, create storylines where people are coming in slowly?
Yes, I like them building, and I like them doing it slowly. But at the same time, they've been around for a year. They've been a company for a year. They've been having pay-per-views for a year.
They have, but they haven't...
For a year, okay? For a year. And they still don't have people build up, especially in their women's division, but their men's division is built up. So that's what doesn't make a whole lot of sense, is, that they did talk a whole lot. They talked a whole lot.
Stick around, Dylan. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what we think will happen.
Whole lot about, how the women are going to be a main focal point of AEW, and how they're going to be a big deal, and how they're going to be this and that, and
I think they have been. I think that they have made them a focal point. I think that they have used them. The problem is they don't have a lot of big superstars. The big talent isn't there.
I don't think it has anything to do with them being superstars. It just has to do with the fact that,
So you're telling me if you stuck a jobber out there and said, hey, we're going to put a name on this jobber and put a name on that jobber, and we're going to, put them out there as stars, and it's going to look awesome.
No, I'm not saying do that. Put the stars out there while building new stars. That's how you do that. I don't know. They have talked a lot of smack about a lot of different things, and they're not necessarily delivering on a lot of that.
I heard people complain about, the Young Bucks being on.
Okay.
I heard, and they were putting people over. And then everybody's like, well, they shouldn't lose all the time.
Okay.
They did it. I mean, the thing is it's what do you do? I mean, you either like it.
New catchphrase. They talk a lot.
My God. What a promo. Yeah.
I don't know. I can understand what Starring John is saying.
Well, I know what he's saying. I mean, you can put the stars out there building new stars, but the problem is if you put the stars out there and build the new stars, it's going to take some time.
So it might take some time, yeah?
We're 2 months in or 3 months into AEW having shows. It's not like this has been going on for a year or a year and a half now.
No, they have not.
It's going to take time to get all that out there.
They have not had a weekly television show for very long. No, they haven't. I get that. But they have been a company for over a year. They have been getting wrestlers. They've had pay-per-views where people are wrestling and they're building stories and whatever they're doing for a year. And they still don't have the women's division built up to where it's actually
The thing is, I've told you before, I said that...
Where it's actually like a legitimate thing. Okay, and I get that. No, you can't build storylines on pay-per-views, but they did have their whole being elite and behind the scenes and stuff and whatever. But like, that's what they were building it on. And no, a lot of people didn't see it. Did people watch it? Yes, but was it out there as much as it would have been if it was on weekly TV? No. But they were still building stuff. They still had matches on their pay-per-views. And the men were being built up, but the women weren't.
Yes, Dylan, I think it's cool that Keith Lee is getting a title shot.
Which is like where the issue lies. Thank you, Maven. Wrestling genius. Thanks, man. Wrestling geniuses. Meaning. So, I don't know. I can understand what people are saying when they're like, well, they've like...
Look how fast NXT built Keith Lee and Rhea.
They've built up the men.
Okay, but
they haven't done that with the women. Okay, so what?
So there's a difference between being established and, doing it, and not being established and trying to get out there and trying to win people over.
Yeah.
So you can't just go out and build your no-name stars into
So what, everybody from AEW is a no-name star?
No, what I'm saying is you cannot build your... I mean, if you start to try and build people up, right, and build stars, nobody's gonna go, well, the Young Bucks versus XYZ. Well, who cares? Even if XYZ could be these awesome, superstars that they brought in, nobody's gonna care. They're gonna be going, do I really want to watch this? Probably not. I'm gonna go watch NXT because at least I know who these people are.
I mean, okay.
Am I wrong?
I mean, no, but I don't know.
So I think that the building process has to happen over a longer period of time for AEW. You have to give them more leeway on building people up.
No, but the thing that
here's a perfect example.
And keep looking at is that they've been able to build the men
up,
and the men are built up, and they have done a good job with that. But the women haven't.
Because you look at the men's division. I mean, you have the Young Bucks. I mean, you have Hangman Page. You have people out there that people know about.
Okay. So what?
So the women's division.
But then they have other people.
Because
then they have other people that maybe people didn't know.
We'll see you, Export. Have a good evening.
Peace out. Maybe they have people that they didn't know, like Hangman Adam Page, or I don't know, Sammy Guevara. I never heard of Sammy Guevara till I watched AEW. So there were those people, and look at them now.
Think about the Dark Order.
What have they been doing for the last year?
Perfect example.
They have built those people up, but they haven't done that with the women.
Think about the Dark Order.
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Think about the Dark Order. I absolutely hated the way they started it.
Hey, me too.
I hated it.
Me too.
And over the last month,
they've built them
I
up.
have become interested in it because, the storyline has looked good.
Yeah. So why not do that with the women?
It's taken 3 months to get that built up.
They could have had somebody on TV, some woman from the women's division a month ago that we hated or whatever, and over the last month, they could have changed that. Yeah. They could have done that. But they didn't. They could have done that a year ago.
Think about this. You had probably one of them that you were going to push, quit, and go somewhere else.
Okay.
You have Britt Baker, who you tried to push, who's not ready.
Okay.
So, in 3 months, the two that you were really going to push, one quit and went somewhere else, and one doesn't have the skills right now.
Okay, well, that would be their own fault for putting all their eggs in one basket and not having a backup plan as to, crap, what are we going to do if this doesn't work out? What are we going to do if something happens where we can't get Kylie Ray and we can't get Britt Baker on this and they can't be our big stars? What are we going to do?
Let it play out.
I know. Let's put the championship on Riho.
Let it play out.
Cool. The smallest person in the division, where it's not going to be believable when she beats Nyla Rose 3 freaking times. And it's not going to be believable when she beats this person and that person and that person and that person and that person week after week. And she's doing this stupid roll-up pin that makes me so extremely mad that you don't even know. Like, it's...
Let it play out.
It angers me so much because they could be doing so much more with the women's division, and they're just not. They just aren't. But the thing is, they have had a year. They
easier to build the men up.
Why is it easier to build the men up?
The men, it's easier to build them up because you have established stars there.
Okay, I'm not even talking about the established stars. I'm talking about the other people that you may not have known about. Like the Sammy Guevara, or the Adam Page, or the Jungle Boy, or the this or the that or whatever.
Okay,
some of these people I'd never even heard of. I had heard of the Young Bucks, I had heard of Kenny Omega, I had heard of Cody and Dustin. That's who I had heard of and Pac. Those are the people I had heard of going into AEW. Everybody else, I had no freaking clue. Sonny Kiss, never heard of him. I don't know. I don't even know who else is in the division, because I can't think right now, because I'm angry. Like, there were so many people that I had no clue who they were. But over the last year, they've been able to build them up, and I know who they are now. And it's cool, and they're stars. But they haven't done that with the women. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, they just kind of went back on everything that they said they were going to do. And it's just kind of screwed up. I'm just saying. I'm not saying AEW is the devil and it's the worst brand in the world, but I'm just stating a fact. The men have been built up more in the last year than the women have. And it's kind of disappointing because they told us from the get-go that the women were going to be built up just as much as the men were. It was all going to be the same and the same. Okay? You're going to see super cool stuff. Like, and what has happened? Nothing. Nothing's happened. And so, that's my rant on that, guys. I'm just saying, though.
The thing is...
Am I wrong, though? Anybody in the chat, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me that I am wrong. Tell me that I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Because I'm not. You're not going to tell me I'm wrong because I'm not wrong. They have built the men up more in the last year than they have the women. They could have been building the women. It doesn't matter who they have, okay? They could have been building them the last year to be stars. They could have been building Britt Baker to be the top face of the company, whether she was ready or not. They could have tried to build her, to make her the face. They could have tried to build whoever? Okay?
Who's whoever?
And they could have built
whoever?
They could
You've
have
seen the women you've seen the women they have. Who's whoever?
I don't know. I have to look at the
Exactly.
list.
That's my point.
They could have built Allie.
They don't have the big superstars.
They had people. It doesn't matter if they have big superstars. Does that matter?
It does when you're trying to build something.
Okay, so what? Britt Baker wasn't a freaking superstar when she first came in. Yeah, she was somebody from the indies that people had maybe heard about through the grapevine.
And the point is this.
But
everybody criticized her.
What is the... Okay,
she came out
so
and
what?
everybody criticized her.
What? So what if people criticized her? They could have started from the get-go.
So let me ask you this. Since we're going to sit here and talk about this, build this stuff up. WWE took forever to build women up. Okay? WWE has been around forever. Okay? They didn't build women up when they started.
No,
they didn't build women up a long time ago. So don't sit here and say that this should happen overnight and they should be having the women being the stars of the show overnight. Because it doesn't happen. Because you have to have the people that can pull it off. They thought they had the people that could pull it off. You have one quit right before you're getting ready to do live shows. You have one quit or one that just doesn't have the ability right now. Now, maybe over time she gets that ability. But, you know, it's going to take time to build up. And if you think it's going to happen in 3 months, what took WWE 35 years to do? It's not happening.
Okay. Sure. They didn't build them at the beginning. They had women that they could have built up back in 2010. Okay, they had women they could have built up.
Who?
In 2010?
Are we talking WWE?
Yeah.
Okay, even in 2010, they had 35 years to build it up.
So? I'm not talking about 35 years ago.
That's what I'm saying is you have a young company, AEW, who's trying to get established and get out there.
Okay, but did they, like, focus on their women in, like, you know, 1960 75.
No, they didn't. That's my point.
Which
AEW
I get, but
is
how many
putting their
women?
women out there. They're not sitting there and saying, "Well, we're not going to have any storylines for you. We're just going to sit back. We're going to let you go out there, and there's not going to be any storylines." There are storylines they're creating with the women's division.
Okay.
So there. That's my rant.
Alrighty then. Moving on.
Now that we've missed half a chat because we were arguing about, and lost 3 people.
We didn't lose until after we stopped yelling. The people love the rants. It's just the way it is.
What'd you do?
What did I do? No. What did I do? Shoot, guys, what did I do? I clicked the button. What did I do? Videos.
We're still live. We just can't see it.
I know. Live. Guys, I clicked the wrong button.
See, Maven's like had a rant that she's now like hitting buttons so we can't see our chat.
Well, I think we just lost everything.
Good job.
No, we didn't lose everything.
Still there.
Woo!
Maven vs. Gleen is the best feud ever.
We just have difference of opinions.
Alright, what are we up to here?
Okay. Difference of opinions. That's what this is.
Well, maybe change that. Well, WF made China and Trish and Lita into stars. AEW's going to do it with I don't know who, but give it time. Thank you. Alright, next.
Whatever everybody else
in the
chat agrees with me.
Who we at?
MJF.
Alright, MJF.
So MJF comes out. He says Cody is a coward, and I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to come out and face me like a man. And then when he gets to the count of 10, he goes, "Oh yeah, that's right, because Cody's a little bitch." So he's not gonna come out, guys. He's not gonna do it. And then DDP comes out, and DDP says, "If you told me 19 years ago that DDP would be in the ring live with TNT, with the hottest brand right now, AEW, I would have told you you're on crack." That's what I would have told you, because you've been crazy. And then he said, "I've been asked the same question since you two got in my face a couple weeks ago. I'm coming back, if I'm coming back for one more match." MJF cuts him off and says, Whoa. You might have been good in your prime, but now not so much." DDP gets in his face. MJF calls out Butcher and Blade. He says, "You can either kiss my ring or get out. Or get out. And get out. Or you can get beat down by these 2 dudes." He takes the second option. Dustin and QT Marshall come to help him fight them off. Tori Wilson was a star. See, they had people that could have been stars back in the day. Did they use them? No. Which I get and I understand. But, that's what everybody saw them as. Was just, models and stuff. That had no in-ring ability at all. When some of them did have in-ring ability. And so, yeah, it did suck that they didn't get, what are you doing?
I'm cleaning my glasses off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have some water on them.
It sucks that they didn't, get the recognition they should have gotten, But, I mean, that was the times. And then WWE got smart. And they started putting their women in a more serious life, Tori Stacey was for sure a star.
Future WrestleMania, Brie vs. Chelsea. Yeah?
So, yeah. Next week at Bash at the Beach, apparently next week. That's what they're calling that episode.
The thing is, WWE's been around since 1952. Okay. So let's figure that out.
But...
That's 68 years?
Okay.
The point I'm making is it didn't happen overnight. When are we going to get MJF versus Cody Rhodes? Soon, I think.
At Revolution. The next pay-per-view. So wait a minute.
By the way, James, I didn't mean to ignore the pray for the people in Australia. I think that we need to pray for that, and hopefully they get things done, and those people can get their lives back together at some point in time.
I
Same thing in Puerto Rico.
thought that Bash at the Beach was like a pay-per-view or something. Apparently not. It's their weekly show.
Oh.
Next week. They're calling it Bash at the Beach. I don't know. I don't know what that is about. But we are getting DDP in a match next week. It's a 6-man tag. Yeah. Butcher and Blade and MJF versus DDP and the Young Bucks, or DDP and Dustin and Young Buck, or something to that effect. Oh no, maybe it's Dustin and QT Marshall. Because I'm thinking about the other thing. Young Bucks was with the other thing, the other SEU. That's what that was.
I'll have to go back and listen to it, Elijah.
That's what that was.
Do y'all remember Warlord? James, I remember Warlord. Let me see here.
We have him somewhere.
Yeah, keep talking.
He's up there, I think. Oh, I see him.
I see him. Okay.
I don't get you sometimes, man.
What?
Anyways, guys. So yeah, that was that, and then we get Jurassic Express versus Best Friends.
We actually have a Warlord figure.
It's pretty cool. Figure. So we get Jurassic Express versus Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Jurassic Express gets the win. It was a good match. It's cool.
Yeah.
Then we get Jericho and Moxley. Guys, just you wait. So Jericho says tonight is when Moxley gives his answer. Will he join the Inner Circle? Mox says, I have had a lot to think about this week. There's a lot more thought that went into this than you all think.
Dylan, are you still there? Because this is where you're going to hear about Moxley.
He said there's
and how he joined the Inner Circle.
He says there's a lot more thought that went into this than you all think. You offered me money, the car, and part of the Inner Circle. You can't buy me. Just so you know. I came to be the most dominant person in all of the wrestling world. So that is precisely why I am joining the Inner Circle. And I'm sitting there going, huh? What? No way. You kidding? You joking? You pulling my leg? Come on, dude. For reals. Kick him in the head. Come on. Come on, John Moxley. Where you at? Come on, I'm waiting. And then he doesn't. And I'm like, bro, just join the Inner Circle.
Yep.
And then I thought about it,
and
I was like,
say?
Well, you said he was going to hit him upside the head. And I was like, okay. I thought he was too. But, anyways, he says this. And then I go, well, you know what? It's kind of smart, though, because he's not wrong. Inner Circle's kind of the most dominant force in all of AEW currently. I mean, aside, if he wanted to be the most dominant force, honestly, I would have had him join Dark Order.
Yeah.
But, it is the most dominant thing in AEW. So it does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense.
So, he says that, and then they celebrate, and then Mox goes, oh, Jericho, wait a minute, you forgot something. And he hands him the keys to the car. He's like gloating, yeah, this goes on for forever. And then Mox goes, Jericho, wait 1 second, cut the music. There's one more thing I gotta say to you. I just need to say this to you, because it's really, I just need to tell you. I really do. And he says, I was kidding. I would never join the Inner Circle. It's a stupid group. So, I'm not joining you. And then he takes a bottle of the bubbly, smashes it over Jericho's head, and walks out with the keys to the car.
This segment was good.
Awesome!
Excellent segment. I love how, they sold the I'm joining the Inner Circle, and then
I really thought he was gonna join the Inner Circle.
Then,
honestly, if it wasn't so
perfect,
obvious.
Okay, but the perfect thing is when they were standing there, Moxley comes over to the camera and gives it a little wink. Like,
Guys, just wait.
Yeah.
Just you see.
So I thought that was awesome. I thought it was awesome how he played to the crowd.
I thought, and they were like, you sold out, and Jericho was like, yeah, you got that right. Moxley,
he sold out all arenas or whatever.
Yeah, he sells out every single night. You know, he sells out the arenas, right? And so I really thought he was joining in a circle, and then that's when you look at the little clock. You were like, dude, there's like 3 minutes left of the show, and I was like.
I said before I looked at the clock, I was like, he's not joining.
I thought he did, and then I thought, I was like, seriously, dude. When he first came out, I was like, no way. No way he's joining Inner Circle. No way he can't do it. He's Jon Moxley. Like, why would he do that? And then after he said everything he said and he joined him, I was like, still like, no way. Seriously?
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, everything he said, and I was like, well, I suppose it does make sense. If he wants to be the most dominant in all of, wrestling, then I suppose joining the Inner Circle makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, it does. And then,
Mox broke the rule he could do, then AEW hoser, never mind, he did. Good old LOL, nobody can do it like the Hulkster. You know what? Moxley will be, leaving WWE was probably the best thing for him. Just sign Snooki and JWoww to AEW, then the women's division won't be boring. The problem is they have to build up the storylines.
Did Mox come out with his New Japan title? No.
No.
He did not.
He did not.
So that was AEW. I think it was pretty good.
I thought it was solid. I mean, I know a lot of people complained about it. A lot of people didn't like it.
I actually liked tonight's show.
Looking at Twitter, a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know what people expect.
I don't know. And like I said, I think the main thing was the fact that it was a whole lot of like wrestling and not a whole lot of storyline. So I think that's why some people were just kind of like, and they didn't love it.
Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco versus the 3 best friends.
But
20-minute time limit. Yes.
But I liked it.
Awesome.
I liked this week.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. So, all right, here we go. NXT.
AEW 7.25.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give AEW a solid 7.
I would say so too. Probably
I thought it was
7.
good. I mean, it was.
I'd say 7.
Even, with the crappy women's division.
See, that was just the one thing on the show that I didn't like was the women's match. So, I'm just saying.
I was expecting Murray Scroll. Give it time and you may see him. And you might not. Who knows? Solid B+.
So, guys.
Whoop.
NXT, let's go. We start the show with Rhea. She comes out, she talks about memories and how she made a few 2 weeks ago when she won the NXT Women's Championship. Toni then comes out. She says, hey, how's it going? What's up? So, do you remember when I beat ya? Do you remember that? And then, I beat you twice. You remember that too? Remember that? And then she says, this weekend I will become the NXT UK Women's Champion. And then, at Worlds Collide, I want to become a double champ. That is, if you accept my challenge. Rhea accepts the challenge, and then Kaylee Ray comes out. She tells Toni that she won't be a double champ anytime soon. Aew then comes out. She gets in the ring, points at Rhea's belt, and all she says is, mine. Then Bianca comes out, looks at Kaylee Ray, and she says, I'm better than you. Then she looks at Aew and says, I'm also better than you. And then she looks at Toni and says, you don't even go here, but I'm better than you too. And then she looks at Rhea and she says, I know for damn sure that I am better than you. Candice then comes out. She hops in the ring, and before she says anything, Rhea stops her and she says, really? Really, guys? Let me guess. You're here because you want to fight me too. Candice then goes, yeah, yes. And then Rhea says, well, yeah, I'm in a mood to fight too. And she turns around and hits Bianca in the face. And then we get Rhea, Candice, and Toni versus Bianca, Aew, and Kaylee Ray. This was a really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Good segment to start the show.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's... And see, the thing is the women's division, they've had a chance to, we sit here and we go, well, AEW needs to do this. They've had a chance to build these women up, and it's only going to get better. You have women that have laid the foundation for these women that are now here participating to get involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, it's like with AEW, it's going to take some time to build some stuff up for the women's division.
Yeah. I'm not going to get started again, guys.
Just saying. It's Toni time. Gleen, my question. Come read it. What question is that? I need to retype it, Elijah. NXT is fire. Yes, it was definitely good. I thought it was good. They're going to have to match. I think, they're going to have to match to try and stay with, and not just AEW, but to stay out there relevant with SmackDown and Raw. Because here's the thing. People will get tired of WWE and if they don't stay on top of things. Or, you know what I'm saying? So they may have good SmackDown and they may have good Raw shows, and if NXT is just they'll skip NXT on Wednesday and go watch AEW just to watch something different.
Yeah.
Even though they are different shows with different ideas and different storylines.
Yeah. 22 belts versus back 2 belts. Winner take all at Mania. Wouldn't be opposed to it.
The only way I would take the title off of Rhea right now is if
you were moving her over.
I was going to say, if the plan is to move her to SmackDown or Raw.
Otherwise, don't do it. Thanks.
But it makes perfect sense that after Royal Rumble, possibly some of them moving to SmackDown and Raw, because I think it would help the women's division.
But then the only thing I have to say about that is, what do you do with NXT then?
I don't think you have to do anything about it. I mean,
you've got enough talent. The women that they had in the ring tonight, if they move over half of them, then they only have 3 of their top stars left. Yes, they have Dakota Kai and they have Mia Yim, who also can be top stars. Currently, they're not being used as top stars, but they could be. And then they have a whole lot of the talent that really hasn't been used yet, that hasn't made it onto NXT, very much, if at all.
I need to watch more NXT UK just to check out. I know they have Piper Niven and
but I'm not even talking about NXT UK. I'm just talking about NXT.
Is obviously they're doing some crossover stuff with NXT, so there's ways to do this with.
I think the reason they put the NXT UK women on is just because they have their pay-per-view this weekend.
Well, it might be, but I think Toni Storm is probably on because I think that she might be getting ready to come over full time. At some point in time, full time over to NXT.
Maybe.
We might do the draft maybe after Mania. Oh boy, I hope not. I would rather see him do, no matter, it doesn't matter. You may have your main brand that you're on, but you can do the crossover without having to, without everybody flipping out about it.
Honestly, I feel if anybody moves up, it would be Bianca, Aew, Shayna. That might be it. That might be who I say move up.
Yes, currently. I think Elijah. I think we mentioned that Didn't we mention that the other day?
Yeah, NXT. Shawn Michaels NXT UK.
Yeah, I think Maven mentioned that Shawn Michaels was working with NXT UK as a manager, general manager.
So, those would be the 3 that I would say if you were gonna move somebody over, do that first, and move them over. Aew, Bianca, and Shayna. That would be it. And then leave everybody else where they are in NXT and don't move anybody else for a while you build up a couple more people in the women's division in NXT to take the spots of the top women that they have currently there.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Because if they take all of them over, that's just, I don't think it's going to bode well with NXT.
Yes, he is a GM now in or I believe he is the GM at NXT UK.
Yeah, he's a GM, or he's the top something coach or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's doing something big.
He's doing something. Yeah.
So here's a prediction, and it may happen this year. It may not happen until next year. But I'm gonna make a prediction, and I've said this for a long time. I said the women should have their own show, just because I think it would do them more justice. I think that over the next year or so, the women will have their own show.
You guys know my argument to that.
And I don't know if they'll put them on the network, or if they will try and push to get them out on USA or Fox or some other channel.
I just don't like the idea of that though, because taking them all off of Raw and SmackDown totally goes against everything they did to separate the women's division from the men. You're then just doing that once again by putting them on their own separate show. And I don't like that, because I like them all to be on the one show as
they're going to have their show dedicated to them.
Which I get and I understand, but then you're just breaking them apart from, like, everything that you literally just did. You know what I mean? Does anybody get what I'm saying?
Good night, James. Have a good evening.
They worked.
Have a good night. Have a good sleep. We will see you Friday. Thanks for stopping in.
They worked to do this whole thing where they were no longer, the women's division and the men's division. They were all just superstars. And then I feel like if you give them their own show, and then you have the men have their own show, I feel like then that just, like, it takes a step backwards. Because giving them their own show would be like a big step, but in a sense, it's a step backwards because you're literally just separating them from the men, and it's almost like, okay. Some people would look at it in the sense of like, wow, they're really good, so they're getting their own show, but then other people might look at it as like, so do they think that they're like holding back the rest, like Raw and SmackDown because they have their segments on there, and then that's why they separated them because like the men's division is better than the women's, like, I just think it would get all jumbled up and messed up and weird, and so...
Okay.
I don't know, it'd be fine to give them their own show,
funny.
And it would be cool.
Well, they don't focus on the women enough. I think that the women need to be out there, they need to be main eventing, they need to be doing all this. We're going to give them their own show.
But I'm not saying give them their own show, because I like having them on Raw.
They're out there, and they're important, and they're seen all the time.
But I like...
No, we don't need that.
I don't think they need their own show.
I don't think they need their own show.
But give them more women-only pay-per-view.
The problem is building up storylines.
I don't think there's a problem with
if you're going to have their own pay-per-view to build up storylines that are going to be, build up for their pay-per-views, you have to have the storylines there.
Okay, I don't know, but I just don't think the answer is giving them their own show to, like, really focus on them. Because they can do that on Raw and SmackDown if they really try and they really fix things and they really overhaul everything and just, like, start over, fresh, scrap, everything, start over, And then, I don't think you need to take them off of Raw and SmackDown. Because I feel like that's just a step backwards. I like seeing them on Raw and SmackDown.
We're going to give you your own show. That's a step backwards.
I like seeing them on Raw and SmackDown, though. I like that. I think they should put them out there more, yes. Give them segments that are less than, 15 minutes, yes. But I don't think they need to go so far where they say, hey, we're going to give you guys your own show, and that's the only place you can see them. Because, like I said, I don't know. Unless it's on a big network on television, I don't know how many people are going to go and watch it. I think people would go check it out because it's the only place you can find the women, yeah. But I don't want it to end up like NXT UK where not a lot of people watch it, or 205 Live where nobody watches it at all if it's only on the network. You see what's happened to those two shows because they're only on the network.
Well, the problem with NXT UK is it's in the middle of the afternoon here in the States.
Okay, even if it wasn't.
So it makes it tough for people to watch it.
But even if it wasn't, I don't think people are going to go, oh, yes, let me go check this out. I just don't think people are going to do that.
If it was on a night, I'd probably watch it.
So, I don't know.
I could always go back and watch it anyway, but I would like to go back to doing a show about you in NXT UK.
I mean, I would too. I'd be willing to check it out, yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch NXT UK. And I wouldn't. I'm not saying that I wouldn't watch a women's show. But I'm just saying I don't know how many other people would watch it just if it's on the network by itself.
Zendel, I would agree. I think it's gotten better from where it was early on. I think I've liked the last couple segments with the Bobby and Lana Raw to SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Edge, Mustafa Ali, and Braun. We'll see what happens. The CM Punk thing, I don't know.
Oh, did you see the stuff about CM Punk? Yay.
I think Jeff Hardy will try and leave. What superstars did you move up? Which superstars will we move up?
Superstars.
I don't know, I can't think.
So, after that match, Rhea, Candice, and Toni get the win, and then Candice picks up Rhea's belt and stares at it. Then we get a Tommaso Ciampa promo. He talks about wanting Goldie back. Then we get Forgotten Sons versus Imperium in a Dusty Classic match 1. I thought this was a good match. Imperium won. It was cool. Good match, good pace, good speed. Liked it.
Yeah.
Then we get Matt Riddle interview. This I thought was so funny. His delivery on everything was hilarious. So, I don't know who interviewed him. I think it was Kathy Kelly, but I'm not for sure. She says, how did you and Pete Dunne become a tag team? He goes, well, I don't know Pete very well, but, here's how we formed. I went up to him and said, I'm the bro, you're the bruiserweight, Dusty Cup. And he did his Pete Dunne thing. And I did my Matt Riddle thing. And the Broserweights were born.
For as much as people criticize Matt Riddle and things like that,
honestly,
he is awesome on the mic. And I'm the one that criticized him with some of the stuff he's done. But I'm beginning to wonder if some of the stuff he's done.
His stuff outside of WWE. A lot of his and that made me really not like him for a time. But the stuff he's doing currently in WWE is pretty funny and quite entertaining. And so I just can't not like the guy.
Question, what does Brock Lesnar get if he wins the Royal Rumble? Here is what he gets.
He gets to fight himself.
No. He gets Paul Heyman going, the undisputed champion of the world and the Royal Rumble winner, Brock Lesnar.
No, I don't need that. I really don't need that. But if
That's what he'll get.
If I only have to hear that every 9 months, then maybe.
I told you Matt Riddle is Rob Van Dam 2.0. He's one of a kind. He's awesome on the mic.
I loved this. And
I think what he does is pretty cool. Again, I haven't liked some of the stuff he's done on Twitter and outside of that. But maybe it's just a show. I mean, it could just be a show that he's putting on.
So, one thing I will say also that I liked about this segment was kind of like they give a backstory as to why the Broserweights formed,
Yeah.
It wasn't much, but it was enough that we're like, yeah, okay, I could totally have seen that happening backstage, because Matt Riddle's all like, bro,
Yeah.
Like, because everybody at first was like, what the crap? Why are they partnering up? That makes no sense. Like, why? That's just random. And then they kind of explained it, and I think it was kind of cool that they did that. So then we get Austin Theory versus Joaquin Wilde. Austin Theory wins. Then we get Damian Priest backstage. Whoopty-doopty, who cares? We get Undisputed Era versus Gallus. I know, man, Gallus has a good theme song. Just saying. Undisputed Era wins, which kind of sucks for Gallus, but I think Undisputed Era is going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down to Imperium and Undisputed Era.
I think that'd be cool. I think don't you have to have someone else
win?
Wait,
is that how that works? No, because I think they're going to do this whole, they literally own everything, and then they're going to lose everything. They're going to have everything for 1 minute, and then drop it. They're going to it's going to just fall apart.
Keith Lee versus Brock at Mania would be crazy.
Or Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle finally retires Brock Lesnar. That would be sick. I would live for that. Matt Riddle, you would be the savior of the earth.
That would be crazy. See, this is where I think that doing the crossover stuff, and again, you don't have to have them like on the same show all the time, but doing the crossover stuff and I know Matt Riddle has talked trash about all these guys and stuff, but doing the crossover stuff with people calling each other out and maybe showing up. Matt Riddle shows up on Raw or SmackDown, depending on who he's talking about. Have him just show up on those particular shows just to make an appearance and say, hey, I'm here, bro. Let's do battle. I think that would be awesome, and I think it would draw more interest.
Yeah.
Austin Theory is Cena 2.0. Just watch Gleen. He's awesome. This guy's got started on. I would 100% agree.
Royal Rumble Brock. 1, 2, Keith Lee, 3 Riddle. Come on now, that'd be sick.
I think it would be. I mean, I think it'd be interesting if they did that.
So then, after the Undisputed Era wins, we get Johnny Gargano live. He comes out. He says, "This was the best promo I've seen from Johnny Gargano in a very long time. It was very, very good, and I really, really liked it."
But Gargano puts on good promos.
He does, but this is like the best one I've seen recently. You know what I mean? He hasn't been on TV in a while, and this was a good way to come back. You know. He says, "Finn Balor, I'm not going to take anything away from you, because you've done a lot for NXT. You put NXT on the map. You also made me, Mr. Takeover, miss a takeover, and I have a problem with that. But I'm back because you couldn't get the job done. You say your past is your future. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm standing right here. When you got a phone call saying they want you up on the main roster, you threw down the flag and got the hell out. I got that same phone call back in August, but I didn't. I stayed because I love this place. You left and decided to play extraordinary man who does extraordinary things. Well, Johnny Wrestling showed up, threw your map away, and I put it on a rocket ship and flew it to freaking outer space." Yeah, Johnny Gargano. Good promo. It was really, really good. "And we succeeded without you, and it's eating you alive." Finn comes out. He says, "Congratulations. Maybe we should call you Johnny Promo now, because that's all you're cleared to do." He says, "You cost me my NXT Championship." And he says, "So stop whining about missing a takeover and go talk to Regal about having a match with me at TakeOver Portland. If you make it that far." Bum, bum, bum.
This promo was awesome. Ciampa killed it, but Finn ruined it. I thought Finn was good.
It was really good.
I didn't. Again, the way they're having them interact is just awesome.
I love
what they're doing with it.
I love
everything they're doing with it.
Line about kind of trashing the fact that Finn left for the main roster.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
And when he went to the main roster, he kind of flopped, and then he realized that he needed to come back to NXT to make a name for himself. But now there's a new big dog on campus, and he can't go back to the same spot he was in.
Yeah,
I like this. I like the angle they've done with it, and I really loved the line about, then Johnny Wrestling came in and I put it on a rocket ship and flew it to freaking outer space. I thought that line was great because it's true.
And I realize Finn is now in NXT, but think about it. If you do the crossover stuff, and like I said, you don't have to do it all the time, but you do the crossover stuff every now and then where someone calls out someone from one of the other shows, or they do something with it, people will get interested in it.
Mm-hmm. I really like this feud. It's really good. And I can't wait to see their matches. Sindel said, "I can't wait for Johnny Wrestling versus Finn. That's a feud they can go on 2 or 3 matches." Honestly, it can. If they have 2 or 3 matches, like the Adam Cole Johnny Gargano feud where they just had matches over and over again that were so freaking good that nobody cared. Yeah, do that. I don't care. That's what Johnny does. He has good matches.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. And Finn, he has good matches too. When he has good matches,
Ciampa,
depends on who he's paired with.
NXT great. Wait, Ciampa, you forgot one thing. You forgot guys who made great NXT: Drew, Rude, and
Andrade.
Yeah, and Black. Yeah, I agree. But I think it's the whole thing is Ciampa's like throwing the gauntlet down, which could lead to down the road one of those guys going, "Hey, whoa, Ciampa, you ran your mouth and you talked about how you made NXT great. Why don't you step over here on SmackDown and we'll show you who's great and who made NXT NXT."
Yeah.
This is where they could do the crossover stuff and do some interesting stuff with it.
I agree. I definitely agree. So then we get Mia Yim versus Kaden Carter. Mia Yim wins, and then Chelsea Green attacks both of them. Some dude comes out and says, "Robert Stone Brand is here with the hottest free agent, Chelsea Green." So I'm assuming the dude was Robert Stone.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but okay, cool. Chelsea Green, she adds to the women's division. She was on Raw 2 weeks ago, and on Main Event last week, I think.
Yep.
And so putting her out there now is a good idea. Can't wait for Diana. That's Deanna Purrazzo. Took me a minute to remember what her name was.
Who is your favorite male and female in NXT? Favorite male right now? Are we talking? Here's a question for you, Justin. Are we talking like wrestler? Are we talking overall? Like, who is your favorite, or what are we talking? Your favorite on the mic, or are we talking just? I mean, where are we? Um, where are we going? Yeah, I do know because I did look that up. So where are we going with? Like, what's? Because if we're talking overall, I would say probably, um, as of right now, my favorite in NXT would probably be Keith Lee.
That's your male. And your female?
And my female would probably be Rhea.
Okay, my favorite would probably be just overall talent in NXT right now. My favorite male superstar, I'm gonna say Adam Cole. I really like his in-ring stuff. I like him on the mic. I like his character.
And here's the hard thing about picking NXT, because
they're all really good.
There is so much talent there. They all do a good job on the mic. They all do good in the ring. It's really hard to pick just one person to sit there and say that they are, my favorite.
Yeah. So I would say Adam Cole is my favorite male superstar. My favorite female superstar. That's kind of difficult for the female side of it. Because I really like Rhea. But I also really like Candice. And I know they haven't done a lot with Candice. But I really like Candice's character, and I like her in-ring stuff. I think she's really good in the ring. But the problem is that they haven't done much with her. So you haven't seen much of that recently, which kind of sucks.
I like Velveteen. I like Velveteen too. I mean, that's one of those things that, each one of these characters do a good job with their particular character, their particular brand. And so it makes it tough just to sit there and pick just one.
They're all really good, but not all are undisputed. My favorite Undisputed Era member is Roderick Strong. I feel like Roderick Strong's really underrated, guys. I really do. I think he's good. But, do you think Velveteen gets a match against Cena at Mania? Maybe. Maybe that's where he returns.
Again, if they, I think it'd be awesome. If they do this crossover stuff,
my gosh,
where they're doing
NXT,
the crossover stuff, I think it would be sweet to
guys,
do that.
If we get NXT on the WrestleMania card, I would kind of scream. I think we should. I'm just saying, we should. But they're going to have their takeover. But I think we should get them on WrestleMania too.
Here's my thoughts, okay? And people are going to go, well, no, I don't think so. They should turn their pay-per-views into a 2-night deal. They should eliminate, this is NXT TakeOver. Allow, if you want to call it TakeOver or whatever you want to call it, allow all wrestlers to be on both nights from no matter which brand you're from, and you could have an outstanding card over 2 nights with great shows.
Which I think would be fine and cool and dandy, but, I don't know. I don't love the idea of, splitting your show into, 2 parts.
If you're going to pull your NXT stars and put them up on the main card on WrestleMania after they'd already wrestled on TakeOver, yes, just like NJPW did. Yes, I think that you could have big shows doing it that way. Especially because you have so much talent. I mean, between NXT UK, NXT, SmackDown, Raw, between all of those, you could do it over 2 nights and make it awesome. I think Japan does 2 nights for certain pay-per-views. And I don't think you have to do it every pay-per-view. I think that you need to do it like when you have the takeovers scheduled. Just make it a 2-night deal where you have 2 separate or two nights where you have the wrestling taking place.
I think
and something you could do with it is if you do the crossovers. This is where you could get your you know, I've said make one tag team champion and over all shows because there's just not enough tag teams out there for both men and women.
I don't like
and
that
put it
because it
across.
diminishes the purpose of NXT in a way. I can understand that, yeah.
Does
I would
it?
say they could.
The question is does it really diminish NXT?
I think
If they're trying to make NXT one of their big shows, which it looks like they're trying to,
but
you don't move them to USA Network because you want them to stay small potatoes and keep them on NXT on the WWE Network.
Which I get, but at the same time, in the sense
we have a big show. He's on Raw. It's Paul, right?
Like they have had superstars. Tommaso Ciampa has said like he won't ever move to the main roster and do the main roster stuff full time because, you know, if he does, then he's gonna quit. You know. So like I don't know.
I don't think you have to do it full time. I think it's one of those things where you create matches and things that you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah.
It's something that you can do without hurting anything. You're already gonna have NXT Takeover on the night before the pay-per-view anyway.
Yeah.
Now you just tie in. Okay, we pull a couple SmackDown or a couple Raw wrestlers to come in and wrestle. You know, Matt Riddle versus. I mean, if you wanted to, the main event, Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar on Takeover.
Brock Lesnar would never wrestle on a Takeover. That's the funny part about it, though. Jeez.
I mean, you know, I think that you could do something with that and make people like really want to see it, and people go, "Wow, this is pretty cool. This is," and I don't think it hurts at NXT. You're already trying to promote NXT as being a brand and a big brand, so just make some of your pay-per-views when you're doing the takeovers, make it a 2-night event.
Yeah.
Where was Dakota? James, I thought you left us.
Dakota was not.
James, you just keep coming back, don't you?
So, main event is Damian Priest versus Dominic Dijakovic versus Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes. Winner gets a North American Championship title shot. Keith Lee won. That was a good match. Keith Lee was the right choice here. Damian Priest, no. Cameron Grimes, no. Dominic Dijakovic, I would have been okay if he won, but Keith Lee made the most sense.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, having him win is a good choice. And does he take the title from Roderick? I think he does. I feel you can do NXT on your 4 big pay-per-views. That's what I was saying. I think you can do them on the 4 big pay-per-views: WrestleMania, Survivor Series,
Hello, Clark.
Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam. I think you could do that for the 4 big pay-per-views on the main roster. And then if you wanted to throw NXT in there on the extra pay-per-views here and there, you could. You could throw them in like 2 or 3 people from NXT in the Money in the Bank match.
I just need to find out about Dakota.
You could throw in 1 or 2 people into the Money in the Bank match if you want to. You can do, you know, at Hell in a Cell if you wanted to throw one of them in a match or whatever. Fine, cool. You know, you can do that. But I would say if you're going to combine the 2 and do the 2-night pay-per-view, do it on the big 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool if they do that. I mean, it's if they want to do it on those 4, that's fine. But I think you do a 2-night thing. I don't think you need to do it every pay-per-view, but I think if you do it enough to where, you know, it make and then if you wanted to have like a tag team tournament or something to determine your champion, or, you know, something your the trophy that they had,
Dusty Classic,
right? Whatever, you could do the Dusty Classic and then tie everybody in and have it over 2 nights. I think that.
By tie everybody in, what do you mean?
But tie it in, you bring some SmackDown tag teams and you put some Raw tag
teams.
See,
but the thing about the Dusty Classic that makes it special is the fact that it's only in NXT and that it's like for NXT because that's like Dusty was a big part in making NXT what it was.
Which I understand that, but the thing is.
But I mean, I can understand it because a lot of the people that are on the main roster now came from NXT.
Exactly.
So it does make a whole lot of sense.
When you're struggling to come up with teams, and I know they don't struggle, but because they'll just throw somebody together. And,
Like Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne.
You know, you have the what is this? The Broserweights.
Broserweights.
Which I thought was cool. I think that the way Matt Riddle described it was awesome. You know, I think it's cool.
I think,
what
I
are
just
your
think
favorite
WrestleMania
matches
is already...
that Austin and Taker had against each other?
8 hours, just 2 nights.
That's an interesting question there, Clark, because I think that they had a lot of good matches, so I think it's tough to... I don't know that you can pinpoint one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Justin's trying to say there. Can you figure it out? Strong Fascio losing.
Strong losing to Keith Lee.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You liar. What are you even talking about?
I just think WrestleMania is already 8 hours. Just do 2 nights. I think, again, splitting it into 2 nights. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think it makes things more interesting. I think people would be more interested. I think that everything would be good. You know, for me, there's SummerSlam 1988 was one of the best ones. Yeah. I'm going to sleep now. Thanks for the updates on Dakota. Anytime, James. Anytime we can help you out.
No problem.
Fascio. I got it. I know what you're saying. I got you.
Roderick Fascio losing.
Yeah, I got it. I was like, Fascio?
For
what are you talking about?
Sure. For sure.
Right. Yeah, I got it. I follow you, Justin. I follow.
How cool people say it.
I follow. I'm not cool, so it's why it's, you know, that's why I was lost. Sorry. I'll be cool one day, and then I'll figure out all this lingo that you guys speak.
Jeez.
Good night, James.
Funny.
Along with their first blood match and their no holds barred match, there's no holds barred match I think is overlooked. Yeah, I'd agree. I think there's a lot of good matches between Undertaker and Austin, and I think that you know, it's hard to just pinpoint one.
Is it weird I want to see a Buried Alive match come back to WWE? Bro, one of my favorite pay-per-views was the Buried Alive pay-per-view where it was Mankind versus The Undertaker, and it was like, I loved that pay-per-view. I watched it so many times. It was, I don't know, probably 3 years ago the last time I watched it, but I watched it so many times. I just kept going back. Before I watched the new stuff, I always watched the old stuff, and obviously if I wasn't watching the new stuff, I was watching the old stuff. But I watched, you know, like the Shawn Michaels and Diesel and like their whole run together. That was like some of my favorite stuff. And then the Undertaker and Mankind, and then Shawn Michaels and Vader, and it was just, I like those. I like that stuff. All the In Your House pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like, I watched those over and over so many times you have no idea. There was a period of time where I didn't super love the stuff that was like me. It was like WrestleMania 9 was like, it was like Hulk Hogan came back for a time and did a match, and there was like a whole bunch of stuff with Yokozuna and like Bret Hart and stuff, and like I wasn't super loving that, so I didn't really love that. But then like WrestleMania 10 on was like really good, and I liked all that stuff, and I liked the really early stuff, like, you know, the early Royal Rumbles, and, you know, Survivor Series with Rick Rude and Jake the Snake having their whole feud and stuff. I like all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that again, I think that a lot of, you know, the Buried Alive thing is pretty cool. I think it'd be a cool thing to do. I think it's one of those things that people would be interested in. You know, so I think it's something that'd be interesting to do. Tendell, that's just reminded me that Austin Taker had a Buried Alive match. Yes, it was a good brawl match, just too long. Yeah. I don't know. Can you have an Austin Taker match that's too long?
I don't know.
I mean, there's just certain people that you sit there and you could sit there and watch go at it for like forever, just because they put together a good show. You know?
Yeah.
I think that it's one of those things.
Where the garbage do you go on here to look at the pay-per-views?
On the phone, I have no idea.
How do you look at all the pay-per-views on the phone? Does anybody No.
I don't know. I don't know how to look at all of them. Damian Priest, aka NXT version of Mystery Takeover. I love it. He's growing on me.
You literally have to go through here and literally look at like the retired pay-per-views to go through and look at them. That is so dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. Damian Priest is kind of growing on me, so he's becoming interesting. I went buried alive in 3 Stages of Hell back. Technically, NXT did do that for one for Cole versus Johnny.
Oh,
yeah,
my
definitely.
Gosh, this Tuesday in Texas.
It was terrible. One of the reasons it was because Austin was past his prime. I agree. I think that at some point in time. Although I think it all depends on how you make it work and things like that. So I think you're gonna have some bad matches in there with the good matches. So I think it's one of those things. What happened to the 3 Stages of Hell match? I don't know.
One of my favorite pay-per-views ever. This Tuesday in Texas, 1991.
Why is it one of your favorites?
Because there was the match between Jake the Snake Roberts and Randy Savage, and it was like they showed the recap of like Randy Savage being bitten by this like snake, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life, and I loved it so much, and then I just had to watch this to get the follow-up, and it was really cool.
You have to just sit there and let a snake bite you.
You gotta be, well, you better be getting paid a lot of money for that, first off, because I'm not letting anything bite me if I'm not getting paid big bucks, okay?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let anybody come up to me and go,
hey, did you demonstrate it? And I'm not letting you do it to me either, so...
See? You're not getting paid lots of money, so you're not gonna let me pinch you.
Maven was alive in 1991? No, Maven was not alive
I wasn't alive in 1991. I watched it, but I didn't watch it live, but like I watched it.
Maven wasn't around in 1991.
But I've seen all this stuff. I'm very
Terry Funk versus Mick Foley. Yes, Maven, loving old school matches. Thanks.
I'm very with it on the old school
again,
stuff.
The old school
That's
matches
what
are awesome.
I first started watching. I didn't watch the new product when I first started watching WWE. I watched
they did take the flame out of the snake,
old stuff. But at the same time, it's like, wouldn't that hurt though? Like,
the thing is you have the piercing of like those are like.
Ow! 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 Ow!
I mean,
ow!
I would say needles, but it might be worse because it's not like a needle like shoots straight in, where a snake the fangs kind of curve in.
Clamps and.
So like trying to having him. I don't know. It just seems like it would be like,
weird.
To sit there and let a snake do that would be like, I think just crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
In Your House 1.
I remember I saw my
Diesel
grandpa.
defends the title against Psycho Sid. Razor Ramon faces Jeff Jarrett.
My grandpa got bit by a snake.
In a handicap match.
Like, of course, my grandpa would pick him up by the tail and mess with him. So
my gosh. I
I
love all of the Bret Hart and Owen Hart matches. Those are all really good. I really like the cage match. And then they like turned on each other and stuff.
Yeah. That was when storylines were good.
I mean, that is true. I like all that stuff. And then, Jim Neidhart got involved and like turned on Bret and was like, yeah.
Remember Stone Cold goes hunting for Vince McMahon? Yeah. Terry versus Mankind are true innovators of death matches. Oh my god, it was awesome. You know what? Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, whatever you want to call him, Mick Foley. Probably as far as being like crazy nuts with what he does and being like an innovator for matches, it's him. Of course, his body's paying for it right now, but it's one of a lot of these wrestlers are paying for what they've done. I don't know if anybody saw it, but Kevin Nash tweeted. Did you see Kevin Nash's tweet?
His knees, bro.
Yeah.
His knees were like twigs.
Yeah.
They were literally like twigs, and then he had to have them rebuilt. And I was like, jeez, man, like that was like, why would you keep wrestling?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
Yeah, Maven was born after '97, so
Yeah, I was.
But I got her into wrestling, and now she's watched all the pay-per-view, the old stuff.
I don't even know how old I was. It was like 5 years ago.
Watched new stuff. And
5 years ago, probably closer to 6 years now, and I was like, I don't know, 10?
Yeah, it was right around the time. Wasn't it around the time
10?
the WWE Network came out?
Yeah.
Because we decided to get it and try it out.
2014?
When did,
14?
is that when did?
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, 2014. It was WrestleMania 30. That's when it came out, and I watched all the. I didn't watch WrestleMania 30 till like way after the fact. Like it had happened, and then I was like, it was a big deal, and I didn't watch it live or anything. I watched it after, because I had never seen any of the new WWE product. I had only watched the old stuff, and I just watched the old stuff till I went through all of it, and then I watched the old stuff again, and then I started watching the new stuff. One of my favorite SummerSlam of
Launched February 24th, 2014.
Yep. It's 2014. I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
So that's when I started watching wrestling. It's cool. But one of my favorite SummerSlams, 1994.
Who's an innovator in wrestling now, Gleen? Mox is a good one. I think Joey Janela.
Ah, shoot.
If we're just talking like being crazy out there, like totally like doing weird like zany stuff. I think
weird zany stuff.
I think that Janela is one. That you know. Do you know of Undertaker's Deadliest Matches DVD? The one thing I hated the most about it is it had none of his Biker Era matches on it. Either that it's good.
When Undertaker lost at WrestleMania 30, my entire house was silent for like 5 minutes. See, I didn't watch any of that live. I saw it all after the fact, and then I was like,
I'm a quote unquote millennial.
Even I don't like.
It's so weird. I'm an 01 baby, but I love everything before my time and everything
till 2010. Jeez. SummerSlam 1988 was good too. SummerSlam 1989, the Mega Bucks explode. The Mega Powers. It was the Mega Powers, not the Mega Bucks. I was reading Mega Bucks on the thing.
Or Mega Bucks.
Mega Bucks. It
The
says Mega Bucks right there, and I was
looking
at it.
The Mega Bucks made Mega Powers.
The Mega Powers explode.
Who are the true innovators in wrestling now? Gleen, Moxley, or not now?
That was fun, man.
Didn't I answer that?
I have no idea.
Moxley.
No, but SummerSlam 1994 was Undertaker versus Undertaker.
Him leaving WWE was the best thing he could have done.
It's one of my favorites.
Best thing Moxley could have done was leave the WWE. Because now he gets to showcase what he's capable of. He gets to showcase his talents. He gets to showcase exactly who he is. And I think that that's the best thing. That was the best thing for him. Me and my dad stared at each other in utter silence when that happened. That's funny.
Man, I wish I had a good reaction like that. I mean, honestly, I don't remember
what her reactions are nothing like that.
I don't, well, I mean, they
There's
are,
no
but
silence.
I don't know what my reaction was to it. See, after I started watching the new product, like, I'd sit in the corner of the kitchen with my iPad, like, nobody else watched wrestling. Nobody. Nobody else watched wrestling until we started doing our show, like, a year ago.
Yeah.
And so, I would sit in the kitchen with my iPad mini in my hands, and I'd be watching this stuff, and I'd start to go, oh, no way, that did not just happen. And I'd like start screaming, and my mom would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, watching wrestling. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My favorite match will forever be Michael versus Brett Screwjob. Yes, I thought that was one of the best matches ever. I loved how it was done.
Well, Michael's versus Brett, yeah.
Even though, you know, it was really...
Screwjob.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that it was really good.
Oh, that makes me think of Dark Side of the Ring. Season 2 is supposed to be coming out soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that, because that was a good show.
Yeah.
I watched all the episodes. They gave a lot of insight on stuff. They had an episode on the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it.
It was good.
It was interesting.
It gave a lot of information. They had a couple different people on that, you know, answered. I think Bruce Pritchard was
that on Hulu?
I think so.
Oh, great.
It might be on YouTube TV.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
You have to look. But anyways, if you haven't seen that, I'd recommend watching it because it was good.
I hated that if you haven't seen that, go check it out because there was a lot of good stories. I mean, the Bruiser Brody one I liked.
The Bruiser Brody one, I had never heard the story of Bruiser Brody, but it was really interesting to listen to it and get Tony Atlas and his whole spiel on it because he was like there, so he found him.
Yeah.
So it was really cool, you know, hearing his story and his side of it with what he saw.
And I was watching something the other day. I don't remember what I was watching, but they talked about the guy that did it was he Mr. Wrestling?
I don't know.
He was a masked guy, and they talked about him being the one that had done it, but they were like, God, I have to go back and look because I don't remember exactly what they were talking about, and I don't remember what it was just the other day.
Dark Side of the Ring currently unavailable on YouTube TV. That's garbage.
Magnus is a star, no question to ask me. Remind me of a young Briscoe and Harley Race. Yes, I would agree. I also love Michaels versus McMahon street fight. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Low key, and this is a stretch, but Keith Lee is an innovator because he's moved his body. The big man shouldn't, and he's redefining what big men in wrestling can do. I would 100% agree with that. Just the stuff he does is amazing. Although, when we're talking about innovators, I mean, he's doing a few more things than like, is it Otis?
Otis?
Or the Viking Raiders that do some of the stuff they do with the cartwheels and stuff, and I think Keith Lee just takes it to another level.
That's true.
But they move pretty good for as big as
The story was good too. Yeah, it was. They had a lot of good stories on there. There were some people that I'd never heard of. They had the Von Erichs one too.
Yeah, the Von Erichs one was good.
But they had some stories that I had never heard about some people that I never heard. But it was really interesting watching all of it and listening to all of it. They had one on Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth and their whole life and, like how that all played out and what led to the death of Miss Elizabeth and stuff,
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Cody versus Dustin Rhodes is my best old school match. Yeah, again, it's and it probably will never be like focused on or big just because they didn't really focus on the Rhodes. Does anyone else like Shane versus Angle King of the Ring? No.
It's because he doesn't like Shane. I don't like Shane. It wasn't bad.
Shane's Angle is the second best King of the Ring ever, next to the Taker and Mankind. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like Taker and Mankind. Again, you're talking about legends, so it's like one of those things that's. I remember why. I wanted to watch like ECW, but like I didn't have a channel that. It's kind of like with what we have right now with. I mean, we could get like Impact and Ring of Honor, but they're on later at night on the channels we have, and it just makes it tougher to watch.
Yeah.
And ECW was one of those things where I didn't get it on anything, and so it was like, great. I'd like to watch this just because I want to see the craziness of.
I've never watched a single ECW thing. Never. Only heard about it. Only heard stories. Never have actually watched it. I probably should because I like the.
I never thought of this. We can do old school versus new school next week. You down with that?
Savage seemed off in the head, in my opinion. Yeah, I definitely don't think, like, either of them were totally in the right mindset.
No.
Which
I would say
led to bad things.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
And then she got with Lex Luger and then died.
Exactly. So, like,
if I see Cody.
It is what it is.
Yeah. If I see Cody booked himself like Flair was in WCW, I'm going to laugh and say, I told you so. The thing is I don't think Cody's trying to do what Ric Flair did.
No. I don't think so. But anyways.
The President Ric Flair, awesome GM besides Bischoff and Russo. Yeah.
But I've never seen anything ECW.
Sandman was good.
I should, because I like the whole hardcore, like, deathmatch stuff, but not like deathmatch, you know what I mean? Like John Moxley and Kenny Omega. I like that type of stuff. I like thumbtacks.
Yeah.
So, I might like ECW.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably would.
Because I like
ECW
thumbtacks.
is crazy.
I like thumbtacks.
ECW is wild, definitely. 18 plus. Oh, definitely. Mike Awesome was one of my favorite ECW guys. It was awful. He was turned into a joke in WCW. But you know what's funny is we sit there and we talk about that. I mean, you look at some of the wrestlers that have come into WCW or WCW.
Into WCW because WCW is still around, guys.
Into WWE now, and everybody's like talk them up, like, wow, yeah, he's coming in, he's gonna be a big superstar here.
Go to Twitch and watch Impact, guys.
And then they don't.
Start on with the
They don't use them. Yes, I have went to Twitch and I have watched some Impact on there, but don't they have like old shows, or is it like newer stuff? Because I have watched some of the old stuff there.
I want Thumbtacks back in
WWE.
You're telling me, man. I loved. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what match it was. What match was it? It was Mick Foley versus. I think it was at WrestleMania 21. I think. I think it's that same WrestleMania that they had Mickie James versus Trish. I could be wrong. But I think it was WrestleMania 21. Let me look. But there was a match.
There was a match. Just one.
Shush.
Only one match.
It was WrestleMania 21. Hold on. It was WrestleMania 21, I think. Event. Okay, can you just tell me the matches, please? Thank you.
Against Edge. I'm trying to figure out what he's got going on here. Is he talking about your match? Sandman with the Sandman song. It fit. It definitely fit. Or Randy Orton. I don't like the Lego creep.
What in the
you guys know Raven is one of the most decorated wrestlers in wrestling history. For as hardcore as he is, he's one of the most decorated wrestlers ever. Yes. Have you watched Prime CZW? No, we have not. Where do you watch that at, Justin? WrestleMania 22. Edge vs. Foley, my best match. Last time I saw Thumbtacks in WWE, Jericho versus Moxley, Ambrose, Extreme Rules, pay-per-view inside Steel Cage. Yeah, it's been a while.
I was right. I thought it was WrestleMania 21. It's WrestleMania 22. I think. Wait a minute. Hold on. I might be wrong again. Let me look. But I distinctly remember it was whatever the same pay-per-view that they had the Mickie James and Trish Stratus on. And it was,
Basically, when you let Edge spear you through a table on fire.
That is 100% what it was. Spear him through the table on fire. It was lit.
It was lit.
I'm so funny.
I
didn't even do that on purpose.
If they're paying me enough, I would let Edge spear me through a table on fire.
It was the fourth match was a hardcore match between Edge and Mick Foley, and the end Foley pulled out a table, but Lita hit Foley in between the legs of the barbed wire bat and lit the table, following Edge to perform a spear on Foley through the flaming table on the outside for the victory. Oh my gosh, I remember that match. That was like such a freaking crazy match, and I was like, Jesus. It was so good.
CZW is some crazy stuff. Like, I can't watch that. Yeah, I don't watch CZW. CZW is the definition of backyard wrestling gone too far. I've never watched it, so I don't know what it is.
I saw a clip the other day on Twitter, I think, of two guys going through a trampoline that was made out of barbed wire.
No one's ever... No one ever kicks out of getting speared through a flaming table.
Bro, I remember that match. See, I know what I'm talking about. It's just, I have to find the right WrestleMania.
I was right. You did get a point, Elijah.
There have been
That's 1 point
so many WrestleManias that, like, I thought it was Mania 21, but it was Mania 22. Because I knew it was Mickie James versus Trish Stratus for the championship, and Mickie James is psychotic, and that was her whole thing, and then I remember the Foley and Edge match. I couldn't remember who it was against, but I remembered Mick Foley in a match with somebody. There was the flaming table and the thumbtacks, and it was nuts and insane, and I love that stuff. It's so good.
I hate death matches. Oh, yeah, CZW is just glorified backyard wrestling. How does it compare to...
Justin, we have to fight now.
They do some crazy stuff in Lucha... What was it? The one I showed you.
Underground?
Yeah, Lucha Underground. They do some pretty crazy stuff there.
CCW sucks. It's not even wrestling.
Now I'm going to have to, like, check this out.
See, now, when I think of...
you guys have done this. Now I have to check out...
when I think of stupidity, I think of that guy on Twitter. I think his name is Superhuman. the guy that throws himself on purpose into light bulbs and tables and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, thumbtacks of doom. That's what I think stupidity is.
Okay. I'm going to their site right now. I'm checking it out.
You're gonna do exactly what they told you not to do. They told
it's
you don't.
It's their fault. They got me into it.
They told you don't look at it, and now you're like.
I don't know if I want to sit and watch it, but.
They told you don't look at it, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go look at it.
You'll botch in the ring.
Hey, as long as we don't get any of those Shane McMahon punches going, I think everybody will be fine.
The thing is, WWE could make things like interesting.
Knowing me, probably.
My phone is loading real slow here, so no. But like most of CZW's matches are hardcore matches. Yeah, it's not. I can't even get into the site on my page.
Oh my gosh! And Booker T and Sharmell face Boogeyman in a handicap match. Yeah, Boogeyman kissed Sharmell with worms. I remember that. That was gross. That was disgusting. Gross.
Gross and disgusting.
It was gross. So very gross. And The Undertaker and Mark Henry in a casket match. That was another good one. Man, I was watching some Eddie Guerrero stuff the other day, and I was like, man, it was such a shame that he died. Such a shame. Because, like, dude, he had so much career left.
Like, they smash each other with light bulbs and glass. Like, why?
Oh, that sounds a lot like that guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Superhuman.
Yeah.
The idiot who throws himself.
Yeah, but he just smashed himself. He doesn't smash anybody else.
No, he does it to himself, which is what makes it even dumber.
Or he has his buddy pick him up and body slam him on like thumbtacks and barbed wire and everything else.
How dumb do you need to be?
One of my favorite Dudley's matches was a Chicago Street Fight against Spike Dudley and Balls Mahoney. Dudley's won after powerbombing Spike through the flaming table covered with thumbtack. Yeah, that's it's just like nuts.
The flaming table's the
And you know what? Nobody's ever heard from Spike Dudley since. I think he's dead. Just kidding. Look at CZW on YouTube or not watch at your own risk.
See, now you're gonna look it up.
Yeah, you guys are making me like want to look this up.
I kind of want to look at it too, though.
On YouTube, so I can just go to YouTube and look it up.
See, like the thing is, I don't know, man. Like I said, I was watching some Eddie Guerrero stuff the other day, and I was like, it was a shame he died because I feel like he had a lot of career left, you know.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame.
Here we are.
Kind of made me sad watching Eddie Guerrero stuff.
Looking up CZW right now. Yeah. Can you guys hear that? I hope not. Yeah, you can. Great. Marco is the new Spike. No, Marco is smaller than Spike.
Oh boy.
I can't hear a word they're saying on this because I muted it because you guys will hear it if I.
But I can reenact it just for you guys.
That guy just got hit in the head with.
See, like, I'm reenacting it. Shh. I got it. Oh shoot! What just happened? I can't reenact that. Ooh,
hey, there's your thumbtacks.
Thumbtacks! Woohoo! That's what this guy is doing. He's on the mic.
I'm gonna throw you into the thumbtacks. There's nothing you can do about it. Is that thumbtacks all over his body? Is that what that is? Or is that just his like? Checking this out right now. You gotta watch ECW One Night Stand, Maven. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'll check that out.
OMG, I found Superhuman. Ew.
It's so messed up, bro. It's like if you'd never seen him before. It's so messed up. It's like, ugh. What is your problem? Why would you do that to yourself?
Watch me. I'm gonna go jump off of this and land on like a refrigerator.
But no, for real, he's done that before.
I know. I'm gonna land in the refrigerator next time. I'm gonna open the door and I'm just gonna dive into it. That's what the guy does. Now for my next trick, I'm gonna do a triple flip into the refrigerator.
Oh gosh.
While it's on fire. That guy is nuts. I don't understand him.
I don't either. He claims he's a stuntman. He says, I'm a professional stuntman, and this is my job. But yeah. I think it's just insanity.
I'm a professional bozo.
Good grief. Professional bozo. That's so funny. Funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. superhuman.
I know.
You. It's funny. I want that dude to fall in the thumbtacks. Fall in the thumbtacks, 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 thumbtacks.
Well, obviously these guys, because looking at it from what I read about it, the CZW, even though it's like crazy nuts.
I will do a Macho Man elbow drop while I climb on the ladder. Superhuman did a wrestling match before. Yeah.
By himself? He sounds like a bootleg magician. That's funny.
So,
you play PS4 or Xbox?
He did have a wrestling match, and I did know that. But
Justin, we have a PS4, we have an Xbox, we have, and we now have a Switch.
Nintendo Switch, yeah. We got that.
Professional stuntman from hell, no doubt about it. He is. It's like crazy.
Professional stuntman, aka professional stupidity. That's what's on my resume, guys. You want a resume? I am a professional stuntman /
I'm just dumb.
Professional idiot.
I don't do anything. You can hire me to just kill myself. No big deal.
How would you like me to do it? Do you want me to be jumping into a refrigerator or not? Because I can jump into a refrigerator. I've done it once or twice before. Just so you know. Our speeds.
Yeah, but they're staying pretty consistent here.
But they suck.
Well, they're not good.
Damn, y'all got everything.
In the next couple of years, I'm going to go to a FYE
or an FYI.
Yeah, FYI in Seattle and Minneapolis because Canada doesn't FYE. FYE has a great selection of wrestling DVDs for a great price. That's cool.
Why is this more interesting than talking about AEW?
Why is this more?
Because we're funnier people.
Did y'all see PS5 is backwards compatible for PS1, 2, 3, and 4? Yes, I did. And now for only $10,000, you can own it.
But people were they were making fun of the logo. Call him the stupid stunt magician.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Stupid stunt magician.
People were making fun of the logo though. They were like, yeah, it took a long time to come up with this. And literally, it's like the PS4 logo, except they put a 5 over the 4.
Yeah.
And so, it was it was so dumb. Jeez. I think if AEW signs CZW, guys, well, they got Moxley. It'll be good.
Yeah.
This is so much better than talking about Raw, SmackDown, or NXT.
There's some crazy stuff on here. Alright.
Woo! Guys, that was funny.
Alright.
That was really funny.
I think we're gonna go.
Now that we've been on here for 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Talking about
look
AEW.
at this, though. The important thing is,
shh, don't say it.
Our internet
don't
stayed.
Say it.
Well,
now it's
even now it's not a big deal. It's like
Maven
our internet stayed good throughout the whole show, so that is just weird.
Maven having a good laugh there. Yeah, guys, you legit. You're so funny. You make my day. It's so great when I sit here and I just laugh my head off because to me you say the funniest things and they're really funny. So
that's because they're the funniest things.
Also, it does not help that it is late. And when it is late, I get punchy.
Yeah, she does.
And I laugh.
Yes.
They're
crazy. That's not no doubt. They're just not wrestling. They're just stupidity is what it is. Let's talk. Or I'm gonna be bored. All right, we're gonna take off. We'll be back on Friday. We will see you guys then.
Yes. We should do more streams like this where we just.
We should do more of our.
Make fun of Superhuman.
Our 2K wrestling streams on.
Twitch. Jeez, this is funny.
All right. We're gonna take off.
We talked about old school stuff, which we've never done before.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
have, but not really.
A throwback show to.
Yeah, I kind of want to do a throwback pay-per-view. Can we do that? Would you guys I can't speak. Would you guys
maybe
watch that?
Punch, what a beast. We've talked about doing a throwback show.
I think a throwback show would be cool. Reliving some of our favorite pay-per-views.
Y'all as always. Thanks, Endel. Yeah, would you be interested in a throwback show where we pick a pay-per-view to talk about?
A rewind.
Yeah. rewind.
Woo.
The Wrestle Story. How it was told in the past. Yeah. Alright.
So if you guys would be interested,
want, here, I tell you what, if you want a show, if you want us to do a throwback, we'll leave a like on the show, which everybody does anyway, but leave some comments leave comments in and then let us know which show you'd want us
Yeah, you guys can give us some
yes.
What's that called?
Tessa wins the TNA title. Gleen, I'm gonna tell you now. Would not shock me.
What is
throwback,
it called?
yes. So if we do a throwback show, leave
us
comments
some
down
comments on what show we should throw back.
Which show you want us to do.
Like what pay-per-view of what year?
What pay-per-view?
SummerSlam of 1985.
Maybe if there's a Raw you want us to do or a SmackDown.
Oh,
something from the
good
past.
too.
Something from the past you want us to do. If
it can be 35 years ago or 4 years ago.
Wacky G.
Mic drop.
Laughing maybe. Yes. If it's a specific Raw or SmackDown, make sure you put the date so we know which one we're looking for. Since there's 9,000 episodes of them. With that, we're gonna take off. We will be back on Friday.
Yes.
You guys review December to Dismember, the worst pay-per-view of all time. Leave it in our comments section.
They're setting us up for failure.
So
we give them all the power, and they set us up for failure.
Good job, guys. All right, we are gonna take off. We're out of here. We'll be back on Friday. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. You make everything fun and interesting for us.
Woo.
So we are out of here.
Peace out, guys.